I can't believe this is happening. It's 4 a.m. Grandpa sits in his chair, staring at the darkness, lost in thought. The delivery man, exhausted, has fallen asleep. A gust of wind blows through the house, pushing the door open. Grandpa doesn't move. He is talking, whispering almost, as if someone unseen is responding to him. The delivery man stirs and glances around, confused. He looks around but sees no one. Turning to Grandpa, he asks, "Who are you talking to?" Grandpa replies, "Your grandma." The words send a chill down his spine. Grandma died 7 days ago. Grandpa inches closer, his voice unwavering as he continues his eerie conversation. Fu Gui, standing nearby, is stunned. He convinces himself that Grandpa must be dreaming, but something feels terribly wrong. Something unholy lurks in shadows. The horror is beyond imagination. If you are afraid, the one you love most will force you to watch. This story takes place in an abandoned coal mine. I was just 20 years old when I started working there. The job was filthy and exhausting, but the pay was high. I remember it was August. One evening, after finishing work with my colleagues, I returned to the dormitory and went to bed. I had no idea that when I woke up, the nightmare would begin. I shook Fu Gui awake and told him to get ready for work. When I turned back to look at him, a chill ran down my spine. His clothes were filthy, covered in mold. Fu Gui looked down at himself, frozen in shock. He was sure he had taken a shower the night before. So why was he like this? I laughed nervously and asked if he had worked overtime. But over the next few days, things became increasingly disturbing. For 5 or 6 days straight, every morning he woke up in the same horrifying condition. It was as if he had been buried alive during the night. The terror peaked on the 7th night. I suddenly heard strange noises from his bedside table. When I turned to look, I saw him sitting up, his pants soaked. His eyes were rolled back, revealing only whites. His teeth seemed sharper, wrong, inhuman, without a word. He grabbed an iron hammer and walked out of the dormitory. I didn't dare call out to him. Instead, I followed him silently for 2 kilometers through the dark. Eventually, we arrived at an abandoned mine that had been closed for years. He muttered to himself as he picked up the hammer and started digging. I was about to stop him, but when I saw what he had unearthed, my blood turned to ice. A decayed human arm jutted out from the ground. My scream tore through the night. I knew something was terribly wrong. I sprinted back to the dormitory, shouting for help. When the authorities arrived, they found dozens of corpses unearthed by Fu Gui. The bodies were shriveled, their skin dry and brittle, untouched for years. Fu Gui, however, remained eerily silent. He simply returned to bed as if nothing had happened. The next morning, we questioned him, but he remembered nothing. He had no recollection of what he had done. The authorities tried to keep the situation under control. They handed us red envelopes, hush money, urging us not to spread rumors. They claimed it was all a coincidence, that Fu Gui must have been sleepwalking, but we knew better. Those bodies weren't ancient remains. Some belonged to workers who had gone missing only 2 years ago. One of the corpses even had a watch still on its wrist. A week later, the truth came to light. The uncle of one of the victims took legal action. The mine's boss was arrested. Rumor had it that he had covered up a fatal accident. Not long after, we heard that the mine was quietly sold to another